Hey guys, for Take 3 Productions, I am Chris Doman, and okay, I'm still riding this high for that was known as the Collider Collision, 4 straight hours of Schmoedown related material, and I got nothing. But so with me, I've got a nice little wrap up panel to do, is a quick little discussion on our thoughts about the collision in general and the matches. So with me, I've got from Take 3 Productions, Kees Cornelesa, Kristen Smith, special guest Anthony Rodriguez, who was supposed to be on the first Reactor Summit, but due to some technical difficulties, it just didn't quite work out, sadly. But here he is now. Anthony, so glad to have you on, man.
And again, I apologize for missing it. I really wanted to be here, and something stupid, thunder, killed all the power in my street, and yeah. But I'm glad to be here. Thank God the Wi-Fi is working now, and yeah, there's nowhere else I would rather than talking. Honored to be here.
Awesome, dude, and we're very happy to have you here. So, and then I'm gonna take it over to the guy I intentionally missed, Jacob. Why did I miss you?
Because apparently I'm gonna run this shindig. So, all right, we're gonna start with the first big match that actually happened last Tuesday, which was Patriots versus Top 10. So the three key things to take away from that match that I thought were Roker clearly didn't show up. The Roker that we know and love, the Outlaw himself, he just didn't show up. He had one of his worst matches other than Bespin that I've seen him have. But Matt Nose played his best game I've ever seen him play. And also, somehow no one knows where Hill Valley is. That was one weird thing to take out. So
the question is, though, do they need to?
Yeah, well, yeah. Considering that turned up in another match later, we'll get to that later. Anthony, do you want to start off? Give us your thoughts on Patriots versus Top 10.
Oh man, that was one of my most anticipated rematches. You know, I remember back in, I think it was the free-for-all when the Patriots won. And then I'm a huge Patriots fan. They want to call themselves now. But I'm so kind of like disappointed because and I think it was around the first round when, man, I don't think Roka's in his A game. And you could tell he started talking. I felt bad for Roka, to be honest. You know, but I felt like everyone has their bad matches now and then, but overall, I thought it was a really good match overall.
All right, Kristen, what were your thoughts on Patriots versus Top 10? We did actually get to see you watch the match live in our reactions. So give us your thoughts on the reaction. Even if people do want to see your live reactions, they can. But Kristen, your quick thoughts.
Right? It was my first reaction, so that was awesome. Except Top 10 didn't win, so that sucked. I have a lot of respect for Roka as a person and a competitor. Even if I'm not like Outlaw Nation, he's a really cool guy, and I always like it when he wins. To see him not perform well was heartbreaking. But seeing Nose perform well was awesome because it doesn't happen that often. And I've been saying for months, you know, eventually JTE is going to have a bad game. He kind of like ebbs and flows where he has really great games and then he kind of has a downturn and plays very poorly for a little while and then plays really well for a while. And he keeps playing really well. And eventually I feel like it's going to turn, but he keeps proving me wrong. So maybe I should start giving him more credit. And Snyder's just Snyder. I mean, he's a boss.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that we have some gate crashers here with us. Coming from, I guess, Collider, where they were just when they got to watch this match live, the lucky people. Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party. How are you going, guys?
Hi. Hello there. Yeah, we are late as usual. Sorry.
Well, you got to live up to your name. So we're just in the middle of talking about the the top 10 versus Patriots match that was on Tuesday. It being collision week, we called it here. It was very much collision week, and we just want to know, what were your thoughts on that match? Just what were your thoughts on it?
You could go first.
So, I mean, when it came down to it, we were going for Roca in top 10 and Nos. I mean, we definitely wanted them to get the gold back. We thought it would be great for Roca to kind of, live up to his name and acquire that gold. But then as the match started happening, personally, we kind of felt like those questions were more in like our wheelhouse than they were in theirs, especially when they hit that Hill Valley question. I mean, like, we all instantly collectively turned.
Yeah, we stood up and we were like, what? Why didn't you get that answer?
So then it was like, we kind of didn't want either team to win after those questions were being asked. But we felt the Patriots kind of deserved that win afterwards. And even as soon as like the match was over, we ended up cutting it from our video. Christian requested, but they came over and because they're bad guys, but they came over and they were like slapping us 5 late to the party. They were so happy that they won, and seeing the joy on their faces that they walked away with that win. Like, in that moment, I was happy that the Patriots ended up winning. But before that, I wanted top 10 to take the gold again.
Yeah, I did want top 10 to win too, and it was kind of sad. But those Patriots, man, they know their stuff and they're good.
A lot of sports and a lot of action movies in that game too, so they kind of deserve that win.
Very much so. Kees, what were your thoughts on the match?
I didn't like this match simply because top 10 just didn't show up. They were terrible. They got TKO'd. I'm sorry. It's just, I didn't like it for that because it was just too one-sided, and I don't like the Patriots. Let's move on.
Fair enough. Chris, what were your thoughts?
I'm not going to be as harsh as our Dutch member of the crew, but yeah,
it sucked. Go on.
It wasn't that great of a match because, granted, am I opposed to one-sided matches? No, of course not. Anytime where I win a match, it's always one-sided, and I'm happy with that. But okay, the thing is,
hey, how was that match with Jono again?
I said matches that I won.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry.
Oh, you mean like you versus Mike Hanley? Oh, sorry, Dad.
Yeah,
Punch pitch over there.
True.
Or your match with Zach Mitchell.
I did feel bad about Roca, like after that match. Like he left the stage and was just like, ugh. And I just felt so bad for him.
Yeah, no, I had to, because this wasn't the top 10 we come to know and love, but they still put up they put a valiant effort, but it was definitely not enough to get the titles back. And there's a reason Patriots are the champs. They're too good. They're too good.
No, look, everyone knows I'm a massive Roca fan. This was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking to just see someone you idolize just not turn up at all. And of course the Hill Valley question. I think that's what everyone took away from that. Just Hill Valley? Really? You didn't know Hill Valley?
Really? Fuck me.
He needs to watch Back to the Future again.
Oh, he really does.
He works at Universal Studios. I mean, we called him out on that afterwards.
To be fair, he works in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Know your brand, know your company. He represents Universal. He doesn't even know Hill Valley. That killed us.
By the way, it shocks me how many people of our circle that predicted matches got this match wrong. Most of the people predicted top 10. Not a lot of Patriots. Patriots still won.
Well, to be fair, I think a lot of people were predicting top 10 in that, please, top 10 win. But anyway, moving on to the other team match that was this week in Rotten Tomatoes versus Nerd Watch. 3 key things taking out of this match. Rachel unfortunately missed 2 key questions in the first round that She knew, she just couldn't put the pen to paper. Grey Drake has one of her best matches that we've seen her yet, and the sure thing, a dance movie. That's a bit of a question mark. Chris, let's start with you. What did you think of the Rotten Tomatoes versus Nerdwatch match?
Praise the Lord and hallelujah, my brothers and sisters in Christ have taken a win for the Lord's work, and they go on to fight the Patriots. Who called it? Who called it? Who called it? I'm good.
Okay, Chris has spoken. Kristen, let's go with you.
I'm upset because Rachel's my queen and I love her, and I'm very upset. And that's about how I feel. My heart hurts. It hurts real bad, guys.
And for the record, Kristen, I am sorry, but I'm glad it was a close match, but called it.
Yeah, I know. See, I pick with my heart and not with stats. So that's why I'm a better person. No, she was gonna have. Everyone has a bad match eventually, and she hasn't really had one, so it was kind of gonna happen. And it's better that it happens now instead of when they actually get a shot at the title, because it's only a matter of time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys. So late to the party. Take it off. What did you guys think of Rotten Tomatoes versus Nerdwatch? Vanessa, do you want to go?
Sure. I thought it was a great match. Of course, I wanted the Nerdwatch to win because I love Rachel and Ken, but I think that Rotten Tomatoes deserved that win, and it was good for Matt because of what Tim did to Matt in their singles game. So I'm glad that they kind of got that win for them.
Yes.
Yeah, and when
Robert?
it came down to drinking and Schmoedown, I learned very early when we were doing the reactions that when I would start drinking to hang out and watch the Schmoedown, I would do an awful job at answering questions.
You forget names.
It would just add that little coat, that haze over my head that would keep me from getting to those simple answers that I knew. And it seemed like that was happening with Rachel. Now, I don't know if alcohol was a factor. She just blanked on that stuff. But all in all, that was the first thing I kept saying was, don't drink and Schmoedown, because that just adds a little coat over your brain when you're out there. But the dance movies, you guys were talking about that John Cusack movie.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've never heard of that movie. And I consider myself a John Cusack aficionado.
You've never heard of that movie?
Never heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I have heard of Sure Thing, but I dance movie. I looked it up on IMDb. It didn't sound like a dance movie. Sounded like a very different type of movie.
It confused me too, because I was like, dance movie.
Yeah. I haven't heard of it.
Oh, well, they had the chance to challenge, and we clearly saw that in other matches. Anthony, your thoughts?
All right. So is my mic working right now?
Yep.
Yeah, you're all good. Anthony, your thoughts?
Thoughts on this match? Like you guys said, Rachel missed a few questions. I think she missed Man from U.N.C.L.E., and there was another one that she missed in the first round.
Animals.
Animals as well. Well, yeah. Which are pretty recent, but around they were just crushing it. And then the third round, I had no idea what that John Cusack movie was. Heard of it? Dance movies was even a category in the Schmoedown. Pretty interesting. I was kind of disappointed because I love Ken Knapsack and I love Rachel Cushing's like chemistry and their to one another. So I was kind of like disappointed, but I'm just waiting for the Patriots to beat them at the league. So that's
right.
All right. Look, just Rachel Cushing and Ken. Nerdwatch is fast becoming one of my favorite teams in the team league. When Rachel actually wonder if we could get a bit of inside. Was there a tarp down when Rachel crushed that tomato?
Yeah, they
was-
they had a whole plastic mat out on the ground when she did the tomato, and it was funny because right after like her attitude of smashing the tomato, immediately she's like, oh, and like ran over and got stuff to clean it real quick. So like she felt bad after she smashed a tomato, and Copster was there, and they basically just took the mat away, and then the game continued on. But yeah, there was a little plastic wrap Dexter style on the ground when she squished that tomato.
Fair enough. So no, yeah. Look, I was a little upset that Rachel lost and that or the Nerds Watch lost. Rachel just unfortunately didn't show up in that first round, but coming in that second round, she came to play and she ended up going really, really well. Let's move on to the third match.
Hey,
oh, sorry, Case.
You guys stole my points basically. It was a great match, and Nerds Watch just didn't have the greatest match that they should have had, because definitely Rotten Tomatoes is a good team. It's never that I thought, oh, Nerds Watch is going to blow Rotten Tomatoes out of the water. Rotten Tomatoes is very good. It was just a question how good Gray was going to show up, and she was great, and that's the reason I think Rotten Tomatoes won, because Gray was great, and Rachel just was not as good as she used to be. So that's why Nerds was lost this game. But in the future, yeah, Nerds was just going to go far. And I really hope Rotten Tomatoes now gets the belt from the Patriots, but I can't bet against the Patriots anymore.
Match number 3 was the Inner Geekdom match, Hector versus Jeremy. Another real look, I went into this match saying that Jeremy was going to get his just absolutely owned, that he shouldn't have actually gotten the title shot. Jeremy proved that he deserved a spot. Hector showed that he's not unstoppable, that he does have some gaps, and that like Jeremy was dominating for most of that match, except for once he started getting a few of harder areas, Jeremy started to show some flaws, but this was a very tight match, really well. Easily the least controversial match coming out of the out of Collision, and arguably probably the one of the just turned up great match, but easily one of the more forgettable ones, just simply because it was so not controversial, if people understand what I'm trying to say. Late to the party, Robert, I'll get you to start. You were there.
Sure. So when Hector Navarro first went up against Robert Meyer Burnett, we were huge fans of Hector, and then with Jeremy Johns kind of shined in his Inner Geekdom match. Jeremy Johns was a competitor that we enjoyed, but he wasn't who we were going for. And personally, it wasn't until we met him at our matches to where this guy is a genuine article. He is an incredibly nice guy. He's incredibly knowledgeable. And although he says that he's just trying to have a good time and he kicks up his feet and he's enjoying himself, he is studying like crazy. He was studying with us so he could get a lot of the harder Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings questions down.
Yeah, we were talking to him a lot about Harry Potter because Harry Potter is one of my strengths. So
nice. he did invest himself and his time to actually study for the Inner Geekdom. And Hector Navarro, we saw him once. We never really talked to him. And so Jeremy kind of took over that mantle of like our hero who we spent that time studying with. We wanted him to take it. We wanted him to go for it. And you know what? I mean, it was they were pulling some names, like the female counterpart to Lex Luthor in the first Superman, and then the name of the general in Man of Steel. That was Hector. One was Jeremy. And I'm just like, man, these guys are going tit for tat when it comes to these names, but what kind of tripped Jeremy up was that Star Wars question,
that and the Iron Man question too,
which was the nail in the coffin,
right?
But, yeah,
like he was singing it too, and had he just kept singing it, he would have gotten to the answer of the name.
Yeah, and you could tell he was a little shaken after his loss, a little embarrassed, just because you put yourself out there and you're going for it, and losing sucks. Even when everybody's like, "Oh, it's awesome! You did a great job! Congratulations! You were amazing!" No, it sucks. Like once you hear that, and you're a winner, and it's not you, Like there's that, and I saw it on Jeremy's face. It was like, boom, he started blinking a lot, and it was just like, oh, I feel so bad for him because he, although was having a good time, he wanted it. He wanted it badly, and he didn't get it. Couple shortcomings, he didn't get it. Yeah.
I think out of all of the matches, that one was probably my favorite. To be
I don't know
honest.
that we'll get to that next match, which is my favorite. But yeah, it was a good match.
All right. Anthony, your thoughts?
Now, this was a match I've been waiting for a while. I had the honor of meeting Jeremy John's celebration. Like you said, Rob, he's such a nice guy. One of the coolest guys to get a beer with him. I would, because I been subscribed to him for years, and I was rooting for him the entire match. And there was a part of me that was kind of like, man, but don't underestimate Hector, because I think there was one Star Wars part, I can't remember, that Hector got that I had no idea. I think it was the Jonah Hex question. That's the one, because I never seen the movie, and that was the one I was like, oh my god, how does he know this? Like, he really is committed. We're both passionate, and it was a respectable competitiveness that I absolutely loved.
And Kristen, what were your thoughts on this match?
All right, so I also had John's winning, so that's 3 out of 3 that I've gotten wrong so far. I did warn everyone, if I'm choosing them, they're probably going to lose, so don't choose who I'm choosing.
Hey, you got two right.
I did, so that's good. But yeah, so I thought this was a great match. Not my favorite of them, but it was up there for sure. I would like to point out I'm still 100% on Lord of the Rings questions asked in the Schmoedown. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, but I'm like dismal at everything else. So that's I got that. John's did awesome at Harry Potter. You can tell that he's really been studying up on that, and he definitely showed that he needs to work a little bit on some more comic book stuff, especially if he's going up against someone who's really good at the comic book stuff like Hector. But then Hector showed that he's got like really, really big gaps in some of these other categories. And so if comic books doesn't come up as much in his next match, I think that it's really going to hurt his chances at holding on to that title any longer. And I don't know how much he wants to study, but I think he definitely needs to start rewatching some videos that aren't comic book movies. But overall, this was just a great match. Really enjoyable. I'm sad that John's lost, but Hector's a great competitor.
All right. And Chris, what were your thoughts on this match?
My heart was breaking. I mean, dude, all you had to say was the first 3 words. Black and black. Just, come on. Because otherwise, that's my only thing I'm mad about. Because this was so good. It was the perfect kind of back and forth, and it was the perfect kind of, one would take the lead, and all of a sudden start to catch up, and then take the lead, catch up, take the lead. It was, in a title match, especially in the Inner Geekdom League, this is exactly what I wanted to see, and I'm so glad we got it. But back in black. Allow me to quote one of Kees' favorite memes. You blew it! You had it all, and you blew it!
All right, now arguably the biggest geek in the one who this was his biggest match, other than the Harloff one, obviously. You're our resident Inner Geekdom case. What did you think of this match?
This match was awesome. It's just not so awesome that Jeremy lost, but still, he put up a great match, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy that Jacob's complete prediction of blowing out of the water just completely went away.
Yep.
Because seriously, Jeremy, I know that he's a great competitor in the Geekdom because I followed him for years on YouTube, and I know how much of a geek he is. And there were just a few questions he needs to study up, perhaps a little bit on Star Trek, perhaps a little bit on Star Wars. Yeah, that may be his next homework assignment, because Harry Potter he did really well, even though I missed all of the reviews after Goblet of Fire for his. Yeah, this was a great match, and that's all I can say.
Fair enough. Yeah, no. Okay. Yes, I did predict that Jeremy would get just absolutely handed, and he proved me wrong. The reason I did is because I'm a massive Rachel Cushing fan, and I thought she deserved the spot over Jeremy.
You were just butthurt.
Yeah, a little
Jacob.
All right.
I do believe that there's going to be a match between Rachel versus Mike.
Yes, that one is coming up.
Yeah,
that one is coming up, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But now let's get into easily the most controversial match coming out of the collision. I've got quite a few points on this one to start off with. Jeff gets a question he's had before. Harloff lets it slide. That was revealed today on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown page. Harloff doesn't write as good as it gets properly. Jeff didn't challenge. Should he have?
No.
Harloff apparently makes Jeff spin again, according to Endraco. Now, Late to the Party can answer this question, but we didn't see any of that in the video. So we heard about that in the interviews afterwards. So that was interesting. Jeff challenges the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 question and is successful. Jeff challenges the flute question and is unsuccessful. Harloff hates the world and wins. I'm going to start with the people who were there because they can actually give us insight into what happened in the most controversial match here. Robert, I'll get you to start because you seem like this was your favorite match and you have some things to say.
Okay, so yeah, going back just a little bit of background. In our match, they cut it out of the match, but I put it in our match, or at least our reaction to the battle we had with Team Action. When the wheel does not have enough momentum behind it, they make you spin again. It's very Price is Right, if you will. And they've been doing it for so long that they can tell the momentum of the wheel when it's time to spin again. So Andrew Guy ended up spinning it, and everyone right off the bat knew it wasn't going to go, and everyone started booing. And then I made the comment, would you like Vanessa to spin that for you? And then everyone went crazy. When Jeff spun the wheel, it was the same thing. Hardly any speed behind it, no momentum, and it just went, and then everybody started booing, and Christian grabbed the wheel, stopped it, and said, nope, do it again, and put it back to the starting place. Because you could tell when somebody's doing a baby spin, if you will, and that's what happened with Jeff. Now, I think where the controversy lies is the fact that Christian stopped it and made him do it again versus kind of letting it run its course a little bit before everyone gave him crap to make him spin it again. So I think that's where like Finstock, Dagnino was just pacing the outside. You could see that in our video. He is a coach. Yep. He is the best lineman when it comes to this game for the Patriots. But yeah, they jumped all over that when he made him spin to hold some controversy to it. So that's what that was when it came to the spin.
Yeah, what he said. I mean, yeah, that was basically what it was. It's just all of that. And I don't know. I like this match because freaking Jeff was just like, I challenge that. I challenge that. I love it when they challenge stuff because then it brings more like, I don't know, more to it.
It's like just the ending. I'm not a huge sports guy, obviously, but when it comes to like the end of the game and they start calling fouls left and right, and then it comes down to all the free throws that they can make to kind of get the score as far as they can. It felt like that.
And they keep calling timeouts as much as they.
Yeah, it was a very effective way to run the game. However, that first part with the board, as good as it gets, I don't remember. We'd have to watch it again. Does Christian answer first or does Jeff answer first? Because
Christian
does. In that case, I don't think it matters what he wrote. If he says as good as it gets, but he didn't get it all out or it wasn't legible, if he knew what it was and said it, clearly he wrote it the way in his mind saw it. So that is just verification that they knew what it was if they say something different and vice versa. So he said as good as it gets. That should be the answer that was taken since he was the first one.
Yeah.
I just think after the top 10 match with JTE writing whatever
Kenneth
the answer
Logan.
was, and Kenneth Logan, and that I think that was why there was a bit of the controversy around that. But all right, Kees, this was your most anticipated match.
And it was my favorite because it delivered, because it's Harloff, and that's my favorite competitor, of course. And it was Jeff Snyder, and fuck Jeff Snyder. Because if Harloff is my favorite competitor, and I do not like the persona that Jeff Snyder puts up, yes, I'm going to love how this match went. Because Harloff won, and he's the #1 ranked competitor, he will get a title shot, and that's awesome. So, seriously, this was a great match. I loved it.
Anthony, your thoughts?
Okay, so I really love this match. I felt bad because when he got scores and soundtracks at the end, and then he said, I could hear the comments already. I knew what he was thinking in his head right there and there, but would have walked out Christian's hand, and that would have been different. But from the footage that we saw, he congratulated Christian. In the interview, that's a whole other thing, but it seemed like he was being a good, like a John Roca. Now he is, but I thought it was great.
All right. And Kristen, your thoughts on Harloff versus Snyder?
Just hashtag controversies all over the place. Makes my life a lot more interesting when I'm monitoring the Schmoedown page. Actually, people have been pretty good so far, so that's nice. Keep it up, guys. I'm looking at you people in that Schmoedown page. Be not ball bags. Thank you. No, but the match was great. I mean, just back and forth, very even. I thought they were each playing very well. Snyder, I think, messed up a few times, and he posted about it too, that he messed up a few of them that he knew, and I loved the results. Harloff winning is awesome, and like I said earlier, Snyder's a boss. Like he's a great competitor. Love the way that he plays the heel. I think it works really well, even if it doesn't always work with some people. They don't understand that it's an act, and that's not who he is in real life.
It's called acting.
It's an act. He's fantastic at acting, because I get so every time, but he's not like that in real life, guys. Let's settle down.
All right, Chris, from one commissioner to the next. Oh, here comes the shades.
Damn right. Now, Robert, Vanessa, let's say you guys were attending a match and there was an answer that was completely wrong to a question asked. Are you guys really allowed to just scream at the top of your lungs, run up to the stage and say, "Hey, do this again"?
Yes, actually, they do warrant if something is completely off the wall wrong. They have actually had people, and Draco did it once during the free-for-all where they were completely wrong on the question and had to go back. Now, it sucks because Chris Galicki busts his butt to make these questions, and you know what? Sometimes they'll slip through the cracks. But when it comes down to the song for Guardians of the Galaxy, that was actually all Jay Washington. That wasn't at all Finstock or Dagnino. It was Jay Washington that started that revolution. And then that was when you saw Dagnino come out, and they ended up doing that. And they brought it into discussion. And that's the thing, is they are open to discussion. In our video, I even flip it around and show when they go to the council, essentially, to figure out if it's right or wrong, the entire place will erupt into a debate, and you have the primary debaters on stage, which is usually the commentators, Thad, Adam, all of them will be up there going, they're researching and looking things up. So it is like a full-fledged discussion to figure out the answer. So yeah, if it's gonna look bad, and let's say somebody does win on an incorrect question, they do take it to account if it's caught by anybody in the audience, or a member of the players themselves. So yeah, it has happened. We've seen it.
Now, okay, now that is very legitimate.
Shades are coming off.
Shades are still on, my friend, because now this conversation actually goes from Dagnino, which again, that's just what we the audience are presented with. That's what we are shown.
It's amazing having people here who have actually seen what actually happened.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I'm so glad that they were able to come on and do this with us. This is going out to these radical Schmoedown fans, if I'm going to say it nicely, who, actually somewhat believe that this is real life, that this is real events. And guess what? I'm sorry, guys. They do exist, and they're all over the pages, sadly. This isn't the Holy Bible, guys. Just...
It's not the end-all, be-all of everything.
Exactly. And this is coming from the guy...
It is. Schmoedown is life. No,
Yeah.
they get it. They get it.
Yeah, no, I mean... And this is coming from the guy who was just inspired to start a movie trivia league of his own. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ranting on too long. Bottom line, this match was amazing. This is now in my top 5 matches of all time. This isn't quite Roca Harloff, but this is easily top 5. And the controversies, minus the potential argument for as good as it gets, BS. So,
All right. Yeah, no. Look, this is one of my favorite matches of the collision. I think we blew everyone's eardrums when Harloff won and now screaming into the mics.
No, that was just Chris.
Have I said I'm sorry yet?
No, you have not.
Very sorry for that.
No, you said, I'm not sorry about this. You literally said that in the reaction.
Yes, but no, this was a great match. Harloff, the look on Harloff's face when that question got asked, and the joke that John makes going in Star Wars, and just everyone just sitting there going,
Yeah.
"Oh no," and Harloff is just sitting there like, "Oh, am I really doing this as a question?" And the fact that he knew the answer, and you could see I don't want to lose this on purpose, so I have to win, but I'm just going to deal with the comments. And sadly, he is going to deal with them, as terrible and awful as they will be. And if fans are actually doing that, you're awful fans. But
they are.
What I said in our reaction, I'm actually serious.
Yep.
If I see the trolls being all like, "You fix this," and you're part of take 3,
You're out.
Let's move on to the main event, the big one. Now, you guys were lucky enough to actually be able to see the main event, and then watching your reaction. Yeah, sorry. Watching your reaction was just incredible, and you guys sitting there going, "We don't know if we need to leave." We don't freaking out about that, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. But we are, of course, talking about the triple threat. Sadly, Mark Riley didn't show up. He was a bit flustered. He was just he showed up to a degree, but he just wasn't the Mark Riley that we are used to. Dan doesn't do anything flashy. He just walks in and sit down. He was zoned in, and I want to win this. Roca brings back the blindfold, and we see a new side of Roca, which was just fantastic. All 3 competitors got their technical strengths. We got 2 spinners' choices, and Mark got his strength. Roca really needs to rewatch Back to the Future. And Dan gets a well-deserved victory. I'm going to kick this one off with Anthony. I'll get you to just start. What were your thoughts on the triple threat?
This was absolutely my favorite match of the entire collision, man. On the edge of my seat, we got to, I think, round 3. I think a couple points, and then right when that 3rd round hit, Dan, you could tell, and then Roca lost that point, unfortunately, and then just in the room, like, the moment when Riley got horror thriller, one was stolen, I think. I was like, oh man, this and by Roca's kind of persona he was trying to put on. It reminded me when Team Action, when their mothers were attending the one of the Schmoedowns. It reminded me so much like that. Like, all right, come on, Roka. We know this is not the real you. But then he started to me eventually. But then round 5, the green room question, and I was like, yo, it's Patrick Stewart, and he didn't get it. And then
the question was weird.
No, that was a fair question.
It was a very fair question.
If you know that those independent movies, then the only reason I know is because JTE reviewed it, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out, and then I eventually saw it, and it was it was his last performance, I believe, and I saw it, and I was like, Patrick Stewart, raise your hands question right, and then Merle, I think Merle's gonna get it. Because it was this close to thinking, oh my God, Roka could take it, and because I felt bad because Roka, after losing the tag team and then losing this, I was like, kind of felt he was get Dan to the last question. So happy for Dan. I love this match. I thought everyone, a couple questions. He didn't look. But I feel like, but I think that deserves that title. I mean, Dan Merle, after he lost about who directed the
Burbs.
I think The Burbs was the movie. Yeah. And, a question he could, if it was a different question, he would have still been champion in my opinion, but just proved today. With another match also, but
we'll get to
defending champion right now. Yes.
All right. Kees, your thoughts?
Dan Merle is the best competitor in Schmoedown history. Period. I called this from the beginning. Dan Merle is just a beast in trivia, and he'll have to belt. He might lose it in one game because there is some good competitor really on fire, like John Roca was, and Dan Merle choked up. But that happened only once, and I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. Dan is just too good, and this match was really good. I was happy that Roka actually put up a fight. The blindfold really was awesome. The moment he pulled that out, I loved that. And I was like, oh, we're going to see a focused Roka today. And that was the reason why Roka did so well. I think without the blindfold, he would not have done that well. But still, Merle's, he's too good.
Let's go to Robert and Vanessa. What were your thoughts, considering you were there live? You were checking your watch every 30 seconds going, are we going to make this plane? Are we going to make this plane? Are we going to make this plane?
Yeah, honestly, at the beginning of the day, we didn't think we were even going to get to that final match. But things did move pretty quickly. We were definitely, by the skin of our teeth, getting that final match in. When we finally got there, I mean, we talked to all the locals. Snyder was instrumental in getting us you guys got to get out time, as was Wendy, as was Washington. It really came down to Sam Levine telling us when to go. And either way, when that match showed up, I mean, we completely forgot about the time and we just started watching the match unfold in front of us. And when you talk about Riley not showing up, it was quite apparent too, just Riley's energy walking around. When we saw him at the free-for-all, his spirits were up and he was clapping and moving around and he was playing the game like everybody else. He was enjoying himself. This time you caught him every once in a while walking by and he would clap as he's, passing through. And then if it was a certain question that was hard for whoever was playing, but easy for him and Roka would get a little jumpy when it came down to it. But all in all, Riley seemed very preoccupied before leading into his match. He seemed tired. He seemed busy.
He seemed like like his mind was somewhere else, that he wasn't really there for the match.
Yeah, and Merle too. We'll give you some insight onto all of them, but the one that seemed to be the most in it was Roca. When it came to Merle, little side story, Merle, I think it's his girlfriend or his wife, was there with him, and you could tell she had the flu. She was sick. And she was sitting next to him, and the whole time he was catering to her, bringing her drinks and stuff, and seeing if she was okay, rubbing her back. And that made me like just love Merle even more. Like, I'm sure he probably told her to stay home. She was going to be there for him. So, you know, just showing that level of comfort that he was there with her as all these matches were playing out. And then for him to go in there, you could actually, when you watch the Schmoedown, there are many times where he's sitting there and he looks off to the side and he smiles, and you know, before he's picking things, he's looking at her, because I feel like she's his muse, if you will. So it was kind of cool seeing that from their perspective on screen with the match, and then behind the scenes, it almost felt like, you know, he had her to kind of back him up. Roca had his blindfold, I guess, to back him up. I mean, Roca was just all about the game that day. But yeah, it made sense when we saw Riley come to an end. It just felt like that was a given when you watched the game play out.
Yeah, he kind of just didn't want to. He wanted to play, but he didn't really want to play at the same time.
Yeah, he's tired. You can tell.
Yeah. All right, and Kristen, what were your thoughts?
This was great. Numeral order, bitches. He's been on my fantasy team. I had first draft pick. He was my first pick. He was the first pick of our entire draft, and I don't regret that 1 second. He's a great competitor. I watched Screen Junkies way before I watched all this stuff, and you can tell he's a guy that thrives on pressure, and I never count him out on any competition because of that. The one thing about Riley, like, he recently moved, so I don't know if that came into it, but moving sucks.
Yep.
So I know maybe that's why he was like tired or something, but yeah, you could tell he wasn't fully there for the match, which sucks because Riley's great. And then Roca with the blindfolds, I don't think he necessarily thought it all the way through with the whole writing things down.
Yeah.
He put it on, and then they were like, all right, round one, write your answers down. And he was just like, oh shit, I can't see what I'm writing.
Yeah, this changed since the last time I did this, when I just had to say the answer.
Yeah, you should have waited until round 2 to do it.
Yeah. It was a nice throwback. It was good to see him kind of go back to his roots. And all three of them, well, 2 of them, I thought were really just, let's just get here, let's just do our trivia. We're not going to make this like really like a flamboyant performance or anything. We are just here to do the show. And I think Riley was the only one who really like came and like was trying to put on a bit of a
Duel of
performance.
the Fates.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. But I think the other 2 were just like, we're here to do trivia, and Riley was like, I'm gonna put on a show, guys. I got the belt. What are you gonna do about it? And I think it showed. I mean, you had 2 guys who were there to just win, and I don't know, that's where Riley's mindset was. But yeah, numeral order for the win.
All right. And Chris, what were your thoughts on the title match?
You can't stop him. Here's the thing. Here's what everyone here's what everyone says when they fight Dan Murrell. I will try to beat Dan Murrell. Case, what's the one problem with that sentence? There is no try.
There's no try. No.
It's Murrell. Yes, to be honest, I almost wanted Riley to win just so that way, you know, he wouldn't have to fight in the tournament, or if, let's say, this was where he retired, maybe he'd say, listen, this was great. I'm glad I had a title defense, but this is where I'll call it good. But the fact that he didn't really announce a retirement per se, but just say he's taking a break after such a devastating loss, it's gonna suck. But I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all, because you can't stop him.
Yeah, that's the thing with Riley is he can come back whenever he wants. He's kind of the legacy character that is always going to be around, and very much in the style of like the WWF, WWE. I mean, you've got these top tier competitors that come in, they win the belts, they lose the belts, and they go away for a little while, and they, go film a movie or whatever. And you've got the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth string competitors come in and keep the show running, and then one day we'll get down to another event, the free-for-all, or the next Collider Collision, and he'll make a return, a triumphant return, and it's going to be huge when Riley comes in. So that's what I think is cool about this league, is that they all have the ability to step out, while the newer competitors, you've got the Team Action and DC Movie News, starting to kind of take up their own.
The late to the party.
Yeah, well, late to the party, but it's hard for us because we're not there. Otherwise, we would be in it more. But it's hard for us. Honestly, I think maybe we'll appear one more time in this year, maybe, and then you probably won't see us again till next year.
And no pressure. It's just,
and that's the thing, is we definitely aren't feeling the level of pressure the rest of those guys are, because I mean they're in it for these championships and they're in it to literally win it. I mean, they are running this league at the moment when the big guys like Riley step out and Ellis step out, and they'll come back in eventually, but it's okay for them to take a time, take a break, step away, and let some of the fresher faces run the show. So I think it's good. It's good for Riley. It's good for the show to have these big guys go away and come back, because everybody lost their minds when The Rock made his return all like 10, 11, 12 times.
Well,
yes.
yeah, so obviously I was very, very upset with the result. I really wanted Roka to win, and I was screaming at the team. I was screaming the answer, and I've just totally blanked on what the question was again, but I was screaming it.
Calvin Klein.
Not that one, because that would have changed the game. It was the 5-pointer that I've just totally... No, the 3-pointer.
Edward Scissorhands. Oh, the Patrick Stewart one.
Yeah, the Patrick Stewart one, which would have...
Yeah, but he hasn't seen the movie.
I know. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that he would have gotten it if he asked for the question again. Like, if he JTE'd the rule, like... I think he would have gotten it who it was.
It's hard when you haven't seen the movie, though.
I know, but and I think in the question it said which bald guy.
No, that was what he was saying. If that's what Roka said in his interview, was if the question had, because if the question had which bald boss or something, if it was bald in there at all, he would have guessed Patrick Stewart. But because Darcy was in there, he thought it was a female. That's what he was.
I did too, and I saw the movie.
And him screaming at the audience, I thought, like, I love Roka. But him screaming at the audience, telling the audience to shut up, was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Just the Roka saying that was just hilarious. But
especially
let's move on.
He's always the one screaming.
All right, let's move it on to the. Okay, I call this the match that the shock that everyone saw coming, because we've been saying for weeks that if Sam was going to do it, it was most likely going to be after this match. It was most likely going to be here. Now, late to the party, you guys were saying that you didn't see Sam walking around beforehand. Was that true? Or like in your vlog, that's what you said, that he wasn't really around much.
That's the thing, is Sam showed up, I believe it was right before Christian's match, and I didn't even realize, I didn't even think anything of it that Sam was there. But if you watch the videos, like, I couldn't even see Sam anywhere in the video. And there was one point, I think, when Cobster was shouting about Dumb and Dumber to Ellis, like, while I was rewatching the video, I think Sam was like the one, so you're saying there's a chance. And so but I couldn't see him in the video. But then Tim said something, Sam's on the same page as me. I don't think it's in our video, but I know Tim said that. So Sam was there. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even realize he was there. We didn't talk to him till after he already came through the curtain. But that was me. I didn't notice that he was even there for the match, because I didn't see him anywhere. Last time he was sitting on the couch dead center for the free-for-all, and Roka was sitting there like the whole time. So until he got up for his match. But everyone kind of shifts around. But yeah, I didn't realize Sam was even there until we heard the music, and then he came through that curtain, which was freaking crazy.
All right. Anthony, thoughts on Sam versus Dan in the surprise match?
Okay, so I got a little bit spoiled because in my software it shows the tags on the YouTube Sam Levine. So I was like, wait, why is Sam the tag? Oh, okay, he's probably gonna use his kind of money in the bank of rights and try to go against Emerald. So the video had like extra like 30 minutes. It's gonna happen either one their preview or to make people kind of like not just blank. Some if you have the Premiere Pro, but I was like, all right, Demero after he was like he had energy. He was like, all right, let's do this. Like he didn't want to waste time. He went straight in, and I was like, okay, man, Sam Levine, I don't know. You're not like when you watch WWE like Edge, when he took advantage of it right when the champion is the most vulnerable. Pretty much it. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff in the match that I could talk about, but I'm curious about what you guys think about it.
Chris, thoughts on the Sam vs. Dan match?
Once more, you can't stop Merle. The guy who went through a triple threat match comes out on top. Sam challenges him. Fair time to do so, and Sam still doesn't have a chance after that first question. So, nope, can't stop him. He's gonna be the champ till like 2020 when I don't know, Jacob moves out to LA or something. I don't know, but
I'm good. That was embarrassing in our reaction. Kees, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Merle just shows he's the best competitor in this league because even though he had a rough, tough match previously with Riley and Roca, he still beat Sam. Not as easily as we would have thought, but that is probably because Merle had a little bit of an issue playing 2 matches in a row, and Sam actually showing up. Sam actually not doing as poorly as people thought he would. I mean, he scored 23 points. That's quite a lot. So that was really good. It was a fun match. Hey, you can't stop Merle. You can't stop him at all, ever.
And last but not least, Kristen, thoughts?
I wasn't worried 1 second of the match, and it wasn't really a surprise because I think when we talked to Harloff, we asked him what the chances were, and he did his like, I'm not going to answer you kind of thing, where he kind of answers you by evading the question. But yeah, it wasn't a surprise. It was still really cool. But yeah, I'll just repeat myself. Numeral order, bitches.
All right. Now, just look, I thought Sam showed that he isn't the fact that he didn't get knocked out shows that okay, Sam turned up, which was really well. He was really funny and it was really entertaining. But our last point, it wouldn't be a Collider Collision without storylines, and we got quite a few big ones. So, the Lions Den are now suspended, apparently. Bibiani betrays the 4 Horsemen and joins Ricky, so that's what that was building up to for the last 3 weeks. Sam and Drew McWeeny are now teaming up, and we are going to be a team. Now, that's going to be interesting with scheduling, but I'm excited. JTE and Ken is happening. That was confirmed that it is happening, and I'm so pumped for that. But the one that I was screaming for that this had to happen, and I was so pumped for, Roca versus Bibbs. It has to happen. It has to happen now. Let's start with Anthony. What were your thoughts?
When he says, I betray you, I was so because it's the only way Bibiani could show his anger towards Roca. And match that I'm most excited for probably JT and Ken Knapsack, just because if you've been watching Schmoes for a while, you know Ken with the jokes about JT's pronunciations and with him not having a car and all that stuff. I just think it's so funny, and then bringing their stories into like storylines, I think is genius, and it's gonna be a very fun match. I don't know who's gonna win. Ken by the Nerds Watch match showed that. Like I know Ken is a ladies' man. I don't mistake that. He puts on the persona on himself, and I know that he knows more movies than except Top Gun, obviously, which he says a lot. He's never seen Top Gun, but I think he'll do a good job. Absolutely. Just last thought. Like really suspended. I mean, remember when Finstock lost and they were suspended, and then he came back. So I don't think he's going to be gone for any means at all. Be gone. Like. I know he's just suspended, but like I don't think it's going to be anything like serious, you know what I mean? But for all these, I could have been more happier for all these amazing storylines. Just the entrances as well. When you see the three and Darren Merrill coming out of the car, and then Roca walking slow motion in the lot over there, and then it was so cool seeing all these storylines play out. And quick thoughts. I like the opening as well, and in part one, interviewing everyone. That was really cool. Getting more comfortable around everyone as well. So,
all right, Kristen, what are your thoughts on the storylines, real quick?
Thought they were really good. I'm interested to see if this kind of John Roca face turn is temporary or permanent, because that would be interesting. But yeah, I think a lot of people saw the Bibiani thing coming from 2 months ago, maybe even longer. I never thought he fit too well with the Four Horsemen anyway, so it'll be interesting to see what he does on his own. But yeah, storylines I thought were great. Love where they're taking Roca's story. As far as I'm concerned, he's got the best storyline in the whole thing. So,
all right, I want to get to late to the party last, just because I'm very curious what they have to say. So I'll go to Chris.
The Lions Den are suspended. I am happy once again. The Four Horsemen are broken up. I am happy once again. John Roca is a hero.
Chris can die peacefully.
I am happy once again. But now Ricky's back, and now I'm angry.
Case, quick thoughts.
Ken versus JTE. That's going to be a great match. Let's go, Ken. Fuck JTE.
Let's go, Ken.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go, Ken. And Roca versus Bibiani needs to happen ASAP. We've talked about this for a very long time, and it's like, when are we getting it? When are we getting it? Well, it seems that it's happening, but it's not confirmed 100%. But it has to happen ASAP because it's awesome.
All right, late to the party. I just want to ask, before we wrap this up, with the storylines, while you're there, how much do you guys see? You would have seen majority of it when you did your rewatch, eh?
Yeah, so quite a few of the storylines we only got by rewatching it from Collider. For instance, we didn't know about the Emma Fyffe or Dagnino bit. We didn't know about the suspension of the Lion's Den. But that's because where they filmed the interviews, the post-match interviews, it's a very tight squeeze behind the set. So typically we don't head back there while they're filming because it gets too crowded with all the people that should be there when they're filming them. We did know about the fall of the Four Horsemen, essentially, only because Bibiani, you could hear him shouting the "I betray you" from behind. So we knew that was going on. That was it for the Four Horsemen. I don't know if they're going to acquire a new member. I know that Robert Meyer Burnett is pretty busy in scheduling.
Yeah, where was he? He just hadn't
filming.
Have time.
He was in Oregon.
Yeah, he was doing something for work, so he's been gone a while. A lot of them have a lot going on outside of the match, so I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's why the Lion's Den is suspended. Maybe if Dagnino, he travels a lot as well, so for his work. So I don't know if Dagnino's gone, so maybe that's a good time to kind of shift him out and, you know, replace the storylines with like DC movie news and all that.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw our video, you know that we had to leave before the whole Sam Levine thing. So when we found out that Sam Levine was going to team up with McWeenie, I was really excited to find out that and everything. And I'm excited that they're teaming up together. I think that they're going to be a really good team. And then I'm excited for the JTE and Knapsack one because there's just going to be jabs at each other left and right.
I was there for that post interview. In fact, there's a partner video where it sweeps by and it goes past Vanessa, Ashley, Tim, and then you had Jeremy drinking his water on the couch. Before that was the post interview, but I couldn't get a good shot because I was standing behind so many people, and JTE and Knapsack were just going at it, and it was hilarious. It was great. I was so happy to see that go down. But yeah, that's probably what I'm most hyped about is that match, because just when they left to go to Screen Junkies and then they'd come back every once in a while and they just talk crap to each other before the Schmoedown really hit its stride. That's why I wanted Nerds Watch to win the title shot so they could go up against them. But at least we're getting it in some way, form still with Knapsack versus JTE. As for Sam, he's been partnered up with like 2 people already that never happened. I know Jay Washington was one. And then I think that at one point they were talking, or Christian mentioned it, that it was supposed to be Rachel and Sam, and then it ended up being Rachel. Yeah, was it you guys?
It was it was our interview.
So that's why I'm like, oh, when I see it, I'll believe it. Sam's schedule is tough, so I won't get my hopes up if he actually does end up partnering with McWeenie. But other than that, yeah, some storyline we do get while we're there. The rest, man, it's all in post, and we don't get to see it till we watch it at home. So.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this. Thank you again, Late to the Party. Thank you so much for joining us on this. This is fantastic. It's great to get the insight into what actually happens behind the scenes. Great insight. Absolutely awesome. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us as well, mate. Where can the good people find you?
Thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm so honored to be with you guys. I love your reactions and Lazy Party. I'm a huge fan of your channel. So thank you. And also you guys can find me on YouTube, just Anthony Rodriguez. You can find me doing movie reviews and TV reviews every week. I'll do some coverage for Comic-Con and D23 because it's going to be busy coming up. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing my movie trivia reactions because I just have so much fun doing them. And just a quick shout out to everyone at Collider.
Kees, where can the good people find you online?
The Dutch Movie Guy on YouTube and at Dutch Movie Guy on Twitter.
And Kristen, what about you? Where can the good people find you online?
Twitter and Instagram, Smith_K10, the number, not the word.
Okay. Late to the party. I didn't get you guys to plug yourselves. Where can the good people find you online?
You can find us at all the social networking gin joints at Late to the Party.
Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram.
You know where they are, and just look for the door, the symbol, and you'll find us.
That's awesome. And I will plug myself before I let Chris say goodbye. I'm That Movie Geek, Jacob London on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Chris, take her away.
Guys, thank you for watching this video with us. Click the like button. Click the subscribe button. You guys can find me on Twitter at my band Last Shot Redemption at LSAR Band MN. You guys can follow Take 3 Productions on Twitter at Take 3 Trivia. Once again, huge thanks to Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party and to Anthony Rodriguez for joining us on this panel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.